It's about 20
Recording
seconds
in progress.
to 6. So welcome to the Payson City Council meeting for August 19th, 2026. And again, the time is, well, according to that clock, at the other end of the room, it's 6 o'clock. I will go ahead and open this meeting with a word of prayer. Our Father in heaven, as we come before thee at this time as a group of citizens and city council, we're so very thankful for thy involvement in our lives and in the lives of the Payson city citizens and those in the surrounding areas. We're thankful for the opportunity we have of planning our future and would ask thee to please be part of that plan as we are struggling to make sure we do the right thing for the right reason. Thankful for the water that thou hast seen fit to bestow us with. Please help us to get more water for our uses. Please don't overwhelm us with the water, but help us to use that water sensibly. And we say these things, Father, in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
And Council Moss will lead us in the pledge.
Please stand. Repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ann. Okay, we'll go ahead and proceed. See the consent agenda. Approval of the August 5th, 2026 City Council meeting minutes. Number 2, confirmation of the monthly financial information. Number 3, resolution approving agreement for construction services for the short course at the Gladstone Golf Course. Unless there's any discussion, I'm ready for a motion.
Mayor, I motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion been seconded. Roll call vote starting with Council Smith,
Yes.
Council Rowley,
Yes.
Council Moss,
Yes.
Council Proboscard. Yes. Okay, the motion carries. That gives me an opportunity to let people know that Council Hewlett is going to be a little bit late. He's had some responsibilities on a meeting earlier today, but he will be here. Okay, we'll move on to D, petitions. Number 1 is I-15 interchange report. Stephen, are you with us? Come on up, Stephen.
The man of the hour.
Thank you for being here. We're anxious for your report.
This is my first time. I'm Stephen Loveland. I'm the new project manager for the I-15 Payson Interchange project. Eric Rasband is retired. So I'm taking over for him. Our design team is currently pursuing 90% design plans. We got that scheduled in September. We anticipate to advertise at the beginning of next year with construction planned for spring, summer of 2027. We're currently working with UTA and the railroad. We're preparing agreements, and those will need to be approved in order to get construction rolling. So we're working through that. And we're also working through right-of-way. That's kind of ongoing, right-of-way acquisition. So that's kind of pretty simple update, but like I said, we're getting close to getting the package ready to advertise. So
that's a major segment of that update. So no, we appreciate that information.
And does the right of way include going over the tracks with new off ramps?
You're
over
talking about the
UTA
right
tracks?
of way.
Yeah.
To the north. So going over, not only
to the west, or where?
Yeah, to the west.
Yeah, you could call it west.
Kind of northwest.
Kind of northwest.
Yeah, so
Going over the tracks.
I brought my.
Come on up if you would, please. Appreciate you being here.
So yes, as part of the project, we're acquiring all the right of way that would be necessary for those future ramps on the southern side of the interchange, as well as that extension on the west end to connect over to 3200 West or Main Street.
Mhm.
So that piece won't be built yet, but the right of way will be there for future expansion.
Awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And you guys haven't found any surprise funding to make the road real big, right? The Payson Parkway.
Money hasn't fallen out of the sky yet.
Okay, darn
still
it.
We're
hoping
working on
does.
We're working on it.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for the update. Yes.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay, moving on. Number 2, annual report for 4 Bay Committee. Matthew, come on up.
See if I can pull up the pictures for. I'm gonna neglect the pictures because
That's fine.
don't know how to work Zoom. All right. To our council members and people of Payson. Over the past year, the 4 Bay Committee has continued its efforts to improve, preserve, and promote the 4 Bay Trail System. Below, we have a summary of our key accomplishments. We hosted a conservation easement celebration at the 4 Bay Trails, recognizing the successful conservation partnership and honoring individuals and organizations whose efforts helped preserve the 4 Bay area for the future generations. And that was the Lehigh City Council that joined us. We secured a park grant funding for a new trailhead, kiosk, and interpretive signage, which will improve visitor education, navigation, and overall trail experience. Continued community outreach and education by participating in adventure days, promoting the 4 Bay Trail System, conservation efforts, trail stewardship, and volunteer opportunities to residents and visitors. We coordinated multiple trail maintenance projects in partnership with local community groups, leading 55 volunteers across 200 plus hour services to restore trail conditions and prepare the system increased public use. We continued planning for future improvements, including the gravel parking lot project, which is currently on hold coordinated with Utah County Trail Engineering. We expanded trail amenities, accessibility enhancements such as an all abilities trail wheelchair, and ongoing conservation initiatives. The 4 Bay Committee appreciates the continued support of the Payson City Council. We remain committed to protecting the 4 Bay area while expanding opportunities for outdoor recreation and look forward to another successful year in collaboration. Sincerely, the 4 Bay Committee.
Thank you so
Hey,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and well, go ahead and go to number 3. Open a public forum. There's a little bit of a nuance here. I'm sure that some of you folks are here to talk about the Mangleson annexation and also the general plan for the east side. What I would like to do, since that's on the agenda, that doesn't allow you to do this in the public forum. So please do not use the public forum at this point in time for that. Although this is not going to be a public hearing, that's already happened. When it comes to item number 4 and number 5, we'll have Michael present those to us, and then we'll maybe even have a little bit of council discussions, if any. But then we'd like to hear from, although we don't have time enough to hear every one of you, I'd like, if you would, those that are against this, please have a spokesman for you. And then we'd come up and have you come up and talk to the council and the others here in attendance. We'll do that for roughly 3 to 5 minutes. And if there's anybody that is for that, then we'll afford them the same opportunity. This is a little bit out of the ordinary because we've already had a public hearing, but willing to go ahead and do that to make sure that your concerns are heard. So we'll go ahead and with that disclaimer for the public forum, we'll like to hear from those other than the concerns about the annexation and the zone change. Is there anyone who would like to address this in the public forum?
Tristan?
Good evening. My name is Tristan Porter. I was invited here by Connie Erickson to talk to you about participating in something called the Mayor's Monarch Program. It is a program that is run by the National Wildlife Federation that helps local governments and communities participate in butterfly and pollinator conservation. Sorry, a little bit nervous. So what it is you pick 3 action items from a list of about 90 items that fit with the city goals or policies that you may have. And then you pledge to take action with these 3 items. And they can range from anything from like removing milkweed as a noxious plant, if that is in your city ordinances. It can be creating pollinator habitat, which it sounds like you're kind of already doing with your 4-base trail program. It can be just like announcing to the public that monarchs are in danger. They've lost 99% of their population since the 90s, and there are ways that they can help. I discovered this program after I put a bunch of wildflowers in a dirt patch in my backyard. And I've just been like talking to my friends about it, hence how I ended up here. But there are a lot of benefits beyond just preserving a keystone species. About 80%, 87% of the people I've talked to have told me that seeing butterflies would improve their mental health. It would make them happier. They would be more likely to spend more time outside and therefore be more active if there were pollinators and butterflies around for them to observe and interact with. Creating habitat for pollinators actually can help reduce the amount of water a city uses if you plant native plants that are drought tolerant, which most of the ones that monarchs require in Utah will do that for you. It can have other economic benefits. Butterflies are actually very big in like tourism, if you have enough. And involving the community in this, because it is a community project, can help create community cohesion and give people a sense of pride in the place that they live as well. So I would just invite you to learn about the Mayor's Monarch Program and to see if there are any action items that would fit with the city of Payson's vision for the future, and take the pledge if you are able. Thank you.
Tristan, thank you. Robert or Dave, could you get her contact info and we just follow up and see if that's something we want to put on our radar?
Anyone else like to come up and speak with us?
Teresa, you wanted to, right?
Good evening. My name is Teresa Halley, and I represent the Boutique Company of the Daughters of Utah Pioneers in this area. And we have a presentation we'd like to make to you as the city and a little bit of history, if you don't mind. I represent my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, James Pace, who founded this city of Payson. And I did not know that until I moved here, and it took me a couple of years before I found that out. So I've done a lot of research on him, and I feel like we need to let new people coming into our city know what is the foundation of our city. So I'd like to give you just a very brief history of what he did and why he deserves to be a little more publicized. So James Pace served as a lieutenant commander in the Mormon Battalion. And when he got done with that, he led 50 families and wagons here to Salt Lake. He had only just arrived in Salt Lake in September of 1851 when Brigham Young said, "Don't stop here. You're going to go 60 miles south and you're going to settle on the Petite Neat Creek and start a community there because there's this beautiful valley." So when he arrived, he saw a valley that was filled with sunflowers, cottonwoods, aspens, lots of grass, and it was a very fertile valley. And everyone was so happy to be there after their long journey. So they continued to settle. They had 16 settlers in that first party that came. One of them was A.J. Stewart and J.C. Searle. And with them, there were just 16. But Brigham Young continued to send other settlers to Petite Neat. In March of 1852, less than a few months later, Brigham came and made James Pace president and Benjamin Cross bishop. It was then that Brigham named the settlement Payson after James and his son William. They changed the spelling from Pacen to Payson because he thought people would remember it easier. A petition was sent to the Utah Territory to be recognized as a city. However, it was not granted until January 21st of 1853. At that time, just a few months later, James was called on a mission to England in September of 1852, and he was gone for 3 years and 3 months, leaving his wife, Lucinda, who became the first female postmistress in Utah. And she did that the entire time that he was gone. After he came back, he was a marshal for a while for Payson. And then he had the opportunity to go to Spring Lake and he helped build the dam for Spring Lake. And then he later bought land there and started to farm there. So he rented out his property here in Payson. Later, after he just got that all built, he built a 40-room adobe house on Spring Lake, which he shared with Benjamin Johnson, later sold it to him. And he worked in farming and businesses, did a lot of things around here. And then lo and behold, Brigham Young said, "You're really good in farming, but I need you to go down to St. George and start with cotton and grapes and rice that we've never had grown in this land." So he moved to his 3 wives and went down there. He had a total of 24 children with 3 wives. I am a direct descendant of his first wife, Lucinda Strickland, who was the first postmistress. There are several descendants that still live here in Payson with the last name of Pace. I'm sure you've heard that around. I find them every once in a while. But we would like to recognize all the efforts that started this community that were not only the sunflowers, as far as you could see, but have become the thriving city of Payson. This picture is James Pace and his wife Lucinda. I owe it to my dear friend Rose Nyman, who works at the Family History Center, for taking a very blurry black and white picture that I had and fixing it to be this beautiful picture that we could be proud to display in the lobby of the city building. This is his wife, Lucinda. She's not in her right frame. They didn't get the framing done on that. I'd like to say thank you to Kelly Morris for doing the framing on this picture down on Main Street. And we are going to make a copy in our museum here. We'd like to put a sign underneath there, which grading takes a little bit longer than framing. So that is still in process. But we'd like something that would indicate who he was and what he did and where he could find out, or people could find out a little bit more about our beginning history, which is down the hallway that nobody knows where it's at. So we'd like a little sign, the arrow maybe, to go down the hallway so that people could come and learn more about our town in the early days. There's a lot of premium artifacts in there. And the second thing that we wanted to call to your attention was I get a lot of complaints about the condition of the little cabin out there on the city lot. It's ugly. Sorry, I have to say that. But
Don't
Salt-
disagree with you.
Salt Lake has asked us that we would find someone who was qualified as a contractor, to evaluate it and see if it's even worth repairing and how much that cost would be for us. Because us old ladies, we don't know anything about that, okay? And then Plan B is one I came up with because there's a lot of wasps out there, but there is a nice plaque and there's a nice stone fireplace. If the wood part cannot be fixed, we could use the rock fireplace to mount the plaque on, and that would be a monument that would not require the upkeep that a wood cabin would. So we're just open to suggestions of what maybe the city could help us with. We plan on going around to all of the DUP monuments that are in the city, the ones in Memorial Park here and wherever else they are around the outside. And we're planning on cleaning them and making them presentable so that people can read about the history. I have people every day that ask me if we have room in our museum to put more things they would like to donate. We don't, if you've been down there. But if any of you haven't ever been to our museum, we'd like to invite you to come down for a tour because Salt Lake was very impressed with what we had. So that being said, I'd like to give you a little memorial just to remind you of our pioneer heritage. So these are little pioneer dolls. You men won't like them, but give them to your kids.
Thank you.
Or your grandkids, whatever.
Oh, thank you.
Oops, sorry. Anyway, these are handmade and they're very easy for children to make. So with that being said, I'd like to close with this final statement. Is preserve our past, look more forward so that we can move forward to our future. If they don't know the past, they're not going to do very well in the future. So I appreciate the time you gave to us. And if you could let us know about the cabin, we'd appreciate it. And I am leaving it up to Steve to mount this. It's ready to be mounted.
Okay.
This one, we're going to finish framing it.
Can,
So
can you leave a copy of what you just read to us? Okay,
Robert, will you get her contact information so I can get back
thank
to
you.
her?
Teresa, thank you so much. You've done so much work for this and
You're-
we really, really appreciate it.
You're exactly
It's been
right. If we
a
don't
labor
know
of
our
love.
past, our future's in question.
And Teresa, you know what they say, the first wife's always the favorite. So I'm glad you came from that line.
Is that a precursor, Ryan, of something to come?
Better not be.
Thank you for your comments.
Yes, thank you so much,
It's really
Teresa.
neat to see that picture so updated. of
Yep.
James. That's really cool.
916.
Okay, anyone else like to address this in this public forum? Okay, not seeing anyone at this time. Anybody online, Emily? No? Okay. We'll move on, number 4, to staff reports. Okay, Chief, come on up.
Scott,
Yep.
Chief. What is he? Chief Scott.
Chief Scott.
Sounds good. Mayor and Council just wanted to give you a little report on the fire station. Things are moving forward. We had the permit to do the grubbing and groundwork. They've been bringing in fill to bring up the site to proper elevation. So it'll be just about a foot higher than the road, so we don't have to worry about any flooding or anything. They're going to be putting in, starting Monday, Tuesday timeframe, putting in geopiers. There'll be quite a few of those as we're working to get a pre-construction meeting going. There's a couple of little things they've got to finish on the site plan for corrections or clarifications, but things are moving forward and seeing a lot of work happening out there for both the station and also the park area. So things are looking good. So finally, nice to see some work happening there. So thank you for all your help on it.
So Chief, when do you anticipate expected completion?
Once we get going, about a year is what their time frame is.
So when are we getting going? So what's
So,
your best guess?
I'm hoping it'll be done by Labor Day of next year, but we'll see.
Labor Day of next year. Okay.
I hope.
Okay.
Don't hold me to that.
It'd be nice to have an open house for
It would.
Yeah.
It
would.
would during Labor Day.
So we're waiting for them to do the site work and the piers, and after they do that, then we'll get a date for a groundbreaking. But they want to get that stuff cleared and ready to go first. We also have to cap a well that went with the home there, so it's pretty costly to cap a well, but we're getting that done too. Hopefully the Friday.
Okay.
So
Thanks, Chief.
yeah, thank you.
I'll jump really quick and say, he might talk about this, but Councilmember Rowley and I and Sean Black were able to go and see some really, really cool technology last week. Cutting edge power generation technology that there are very few times in my life when I felt like, oh, I got to see something really cool that's going to change the way things work in this world, and I got that opportunity. So linear generation, look it up and check it out. It's really cool. Council, public, we are T-minus 2 weeks to Onion Days. And I just wanted to give a quick plug. We've been working really hard to get our concert all in order. We had an update today, and Aaron Watson will be coming. The show is going to be amazing, band and singer, everything. So I'd encourage you all to put that on your calendar to attend that at the Petite Neat. And then for those of you, I know that Janine gave some marching orders to sign up for the Onion Days assignments. If you missed that or whatever, let me know, and we have space for you. I promise. So we're just so excited for Onion Days this year, and want to invite the community to participate in that. So thanks, everybody.
Will the parade route be available?
The parade route will be available. It will be paved, and then work will continue after Labor Day. So
I think it's safe to say hell or high water is not going to stop that.
Might be walking through wet asphalt, but
Yeah.
we're doing it.
Okay. Any other staff? Well, oh, good. Thank you. It's nice to know. Okay, we'll move off of staff reports and go to council reports. We'll start with Council Riss. Oh, I didn't see you.
Donna's online.
That was
I
Donna.
think
Well,
Travis is going to come up too.
yeah. Donna? I guess you wait for Travis, and then we won't forget you.
Oh, I don't want to wait for Travis. Just
Well,
kidding.
he's already up to it.
Oh,
We'll get to you. Go ahead, Travis.
Mayor and Council, it's my great privilege to introduce you to Joshua Reedhead. Josh, if you could stand up. So tonight we're having you appoint him as the city engineer. Robert, Melanie, and I interviewed him, and we made the offer, and he graciously accepted, obviously, with the contingent that you guys approve his position. So he's a BYU graduate, and I didn't hold that against him with Anders.
That's in his favor, tell you.
But I don't know if you have any questions or you want him to come up and introduce himself, whatever you guys want to do. But
I know we have an action item on him as well, so
I'd love if he'd come
come on up.
introduce yourself. That'd be awesome.
Tell us about your family and who you are. Everybody has a family.
I have a family, but yeah, I born and raised here in Utah Valley, Springville most of my life, and married a wonderful woman from Arizona and live here with our 4 kids here in Springville. Well, in Springville, we're renting. We love it down here though, and super grateful for this opportunity. Sean, one of your linemen, is my brother-in-law, and he really encouraged me to look into this position. I wasn't necessarily looking, but I'm very grateful that he gave me a little nudge, a few nudges, and if it all works out, I think it'll be a wonderful opportunity to me to serve the city of Payson. I'm in private consulting now, and there's a whole lot more heart in working with you guys for Payson City. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Let's exchange that if it works out to when it works out. It will work out.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Remind us your name one more time.
Josh Reedhead.
Josh Reedhead.
Yes, sir.
Okay, excellent.
Okay,
Thank you.
Josh, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, Mayor, I thought you'd moved on to the next item, so that's.
It's okay. When we come to that item, we'll just not worry about calling you up, and we'll make that action. Okay, Donna.
Hey, I just wanted to let the council know that our Candace Hope, our one of our librarians here, was awarded Librarian of the Month through Bywater, which is the support system. It's our system for our catalog and everything and our website. She's worked really close with them since we what's the word? We migrated to them in 2016, and she's been at the forefront of everything we've done here at the library technologically with help. I mean, Dale obviously, but and Jason have been so great, but Candace really carries the weight of it here at the library, and she was awarded that through Bywater because they've also highlighted her website several times. She's just done a really good job, and I just wanted to make sure she got recognized. And she also does the Onion Day booklet for anybody who thinks how great the Onion Day booklet goes. That's Candace also. So I just wanted to make sure she got highlighted for that. Thanks.
Thank you, Donna. That's wonderful news to hear. I'm glad you shared that with us. Okay. Any other staff? If not, we'll move on to council. As I was stating, we'll go with Council Provost Guard.
Yeah, I've got a couple things exciting. I've been working with a lot of department heads, Robert and Dave, with several projects, several items, and I'm just pleased with the positive, the way they're willing to help, the way they're willing to make suggestions on resources and what have you. So if you'd pass that on to each of them, they're just wonderful. Beautification Committee continues to roll forward. We have another project. If you would like to join us on the 29th, Saturday the 29th at 7 a.m., we're going to tackle the North Interchange weeds. Wow. I know. We're excited to jump in and get that ready for Labor Day. There is an initiative for all of you that are here with the Beautification Committee that we are pushing through the different churches, not only the LDS church, but we've had contact with all 5 others if they reported at Beautification Committee. So look for the future of some projects that we've identified as a Beautification Committee and as a city council. We've also sent a letter out to several residents asking that they beautify their yards with things that are not in ordinance, such as too many parked cars, overgrown noxious weeds and what have you. We had a report by the chief that all of the letters that we sent to the businesses, probably about 90% of them have done something positive. And even the residents that we've sent letters to, there's always 1 or 2 negative, but for the most part, they've been received very well. So excited to be part of the Beautification Committee and the ideas and things that they're rolling forward on. Thank you.
Council Moss.
I have a couple things. A couple weeks ago, I had the opportunity to serve at my 3rd salmon supper, and it was amazing, and it was so much fun, and the salmon is the best in the world, and met a ton of people. I even had somebody say they had just gotten back from Alaska and had salmon up there, and our salmon was better. It was just amazing. It's always amazing to me to meet so many people that come to that have connection to Payson in some way or another. And it's a great community event, and I look forward to the next one. And Chief Spencer, did you ever find out how much salmon we served? Wow. And how many tickets did we sell? That's amazing. And I just love this tradition. And on another note, another tradition, Onion Days is coming up, and I'm so excited. And it's just so neat to have our founders' pictures right here. And I wonder if they ever even imagined how much influence Payson would have, and how many people have a connection to Payson and go out into the world and then come back for things like the Salmon Supper or Onion Days. And it's just an amazing thing to honor our forebears. So thank you so much, Teresa, for doing that. And that's all I've got.
Thanks. I don't generally say anything with, when it comes to council reports, but this time I will because of our name Payson. I had just happened to be downtown, and noticed a husband and a wife and their daughter enjoying our Main Street. So I approached them, asked them how they liked what we done. They absolutely loved it. They were from Springville. They had never been down Main Street before. And so I talked to them about how Payson got its name, James Pace and his son, and told them that story. And it just so happens, and I'm glad I stopped and talked to them, their daughter's name is Payson. They named her Payson. And they were glad to know the history of how that name came to be. So we are proud of our founder and our name. So, okay, go ahead.
Thanks, Mayor. I want to thank all of the staff and especially the residents that are here tonight. It's so wonderful to see a packed house. This is beautiful. Thank you for coming, for caring enough about our community to show up. I'm so grateful for the Daughters of the Utah Pioneers and for your work. My grandmother was a proud product and a believer in that organization. And so I helped set up many tables and chairs as a youth for lunches and dinners for the Daughters of the Utah Pioneers. But grateful for our pioneer heritage in this valley, in this area. Want to update the council and staff and mayor a little bit on South Utah Valley Power Systems. We're about to complete our transmission line through Spanish Fork, and just a little education, everyone. We are one of the owners of the South Utah Valley Power Systems, along with Spanish Fork, Salem, Springville, and Strawberry Electric District, SESD. So we're having a lot of catching up to do to provide the needed power to so many residents. That comes from the overusage of us charging everything now and using so much power. And I'm grateful to see that project moving forward. As Robert mentioned, we traveled and went and saw some linear generators that Robert truly encapsulated how I felt too. That was one of those times you sit back and think, wow, this might change the world of generation. It can run on any type of fuel without changing anything. There's only a few wearable parts on it. And you could stand next to this generator and have a conversation. It was extremely quiet and as clean as well. So this was a really, really neat thing. And so we're looking into this. And I will never promise residents something I can't uphold. I'm not going to sit and promise you that utility rates will never go up, because that's a fallacy. But what I can promise you is that we're doing everything in conjunction with our power director to make sure that Payson City Power produces enough for our residents at a very viable rate. And a rate that we can hopefully sustain and keep level for years to come, as we have some short-term pain for hopefully some long-term gain to level out these power costs with this new technology. So thankful for the salmon supper. Chief, tell your firefighters thank you so much for serving us. That was a hot day, 100 degrees outside, plus the fires and them carting the fish back and forth. And I'm so bummed to hear that we sold all those tickets. They're so hard to get, and then 200 people don't show up. Oh my goodness. We did run out of salmon, so we started serving carp from Utah Lake. That was a big hit.
Don't start that rumor.
No, we had plenty of salmon. It was a great event. As we continue to grow in Payson, it's so important that we maintain those kinds of events, the band concerts, the salmon supper, onion days, to keep our small town flavor. And thank you, Chief, for the update on the fire station and park that's also coming in next to it. And then 4-Bay Committee, I'm grateful for your presentation. I love the 4-Bay Committee. Thanks to the Mayor and Council for helping get that conservation easement across the line. In 100 years, we can look back and that looks the same as it does now. So thank you all so much. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, Council Smith.
I'm going to reiterate some of what others have said, but this was my first salmon supper serving and attending. So I've said that serving has actually gotten me more involved in the events of town. And so, but I have to give a shout out to Lieutenant Copley of the police department. Hopefully someone can pass it on to him. I almost passed out a few times. It was so hot. And he made sure I had plenty of water, and he checked on me, and he offered to come in his uniform and serve for me. And so he was just incredibly awesome that he just made sure that I was okay. I am excited for Onion Days, and I've already got my whole calendar full. So I hope everyone is excited for that. And then the two things I wanted to follow up on, have we had any movement with the Tabitha Way bin request? Those mattresses outside are quite aesthetically pleasing. I would love to know who dropped them. Yeah. So that was my first, if we could get a follow-up on that. The second is kind of going back to Ryan's talking about the power. I am excited about the UAMPS convention to learn more. And Sean's great at answering things, but curious where we are of the information we were going to provide for residents to kind of break down everything, because there was another thing that came up the other day and I had to reach out to Sean and we found an inconsistency of what it's called on the bills. So just,
I think it was in regards to solar, correct?
but then found out everyone's charged it. It's named something different on your bill. So, and then it didn't even pull up on my bill, but it's built in. So,
Yeah, thanks for following up on
yeah.
that. We've been compiling all of that information,
Okay.
trying to get all of it in a way that is actually representational.
Okay.
An apples to apples comparison, because some of the information that our other sister cities publish maybe put them in a better light than they really are. So we're going through
Okay.
all of that, and then we'll update all of you.
Okay.
Thanks for following up.
Yeah, but that's it. So just thanks to everyone.
Thanks, Lacey. Okay. We'll go ahead and we won't call you up, Travis, but this next one is.
Here.
Yeah, okay.
I'll apologize. I got too
Action item
excited
resolution.
for 2.5 months of doing both jobs. I got too excited.
That's okay. Appointment of a new city engineer. So any discussion, council? I said not if, when, so I'll stand with that.
I'm excited for Travis to have another engineer to geek out with.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
That's all.
Okay, unless there's any more discussion regarding
And just
this.
to be clear, this is filling a vacancy. This is not the creation of a new.
That's right.
engineer.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. And a badly needed one.
Yes.
So, okay, then I'm ready for a motion on this item.
Mayor, I motion that we approve the appointment of our new city engineer.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. It's been motioned and seconded. Roll call vote starting with Council Provost Guard,
Yes.
Council Moss.
Yes.
Council Rowley.
Yes.
Council Smith.
Yes.
Welcome.
Yep.
You're in.
Do we need to get a picture? Did you mention, somebody mentioned a picture?
Love a picture.
Let's do a picture. Josh, come on up.
Yeah, that's not funny. You can say it. You get to stand in the whole same height. Get there, right? I'll hide right over it. You won't be able to see. I'll get on your shoulder. Don't scare you. I got a sunburn. I don't want to see.
Okay, Mayor, speak that way. This is that.
Okay, we'll go on to number 2, ordinance amendment to the Payson City Code Title 11, Chapter 16, Cemetery. Tracy's not here. Who's going to present that? Dave, you are?
Yeah, me. Yes, sorry, Tracy was planning on this, but he had some PGA meetings out of state, so he asked that we take care of it. I do have Derek here. Derek, why don't you come up? Derek's our sexton. He's put a lot of work into this since he was appointed to that position, and they've looked at several cities. They've talked to many of the mortuaries that we deal with and tried to make our ordinance better representative of how we do business down there. I don't know if you have anything to say on the contents, but and you've had it in your packet if you've had a chance to read it, but we're renaming a Babyland to, what was that now? I just forgot. Angel Gardens. Angel Gardens. We're just updating how we do things. We're hoping in the next year or so to have a cremation wall to help the residents that want to do that.
So I feel like the biggest part of what we did here was there was a lot of monument companies when they brought stones. There was issues of how and when and where they put them. We just made it simplified for them. And we're trying to make it simplified for them of paying online as well as like when to meet and all that. So a lot of the ordinance stuff change was more to like for the headstones and more for the skirts of the headstones, more to help the community as well. There was a few times that like someone wanted to build a headstone and it wasn't up to what they wanted. So we expanded it a little bit, made it so that they could get what they wanted. Is basically what we did with the ordinance. So
Yeah, and as I read through it, it looked good, and I think it gives you some autonomy to work with families as well, which is really good, and also streamlining of making it simpler as these families are grieving already. I'd hate for the cemetery to be one more thing they have to worry about and stress out about. So I was glad to see this is streamlined, made easier for everybody.
And we have updated. Bobby has been working hard. She works part-time in the front office. They would love to have her full-time, but she's been working on updating and people can come in, get everything done. They'll meet with Derek, but then all the payments are run through the front office here and Bobby, and it streamlines things and makes sure that we don't have any issues that way. So our recommendation, if the council is comfortable, is to adopt the amendments to the cemetery ordinance.
Can I?
Now,
Oh,
well, I was just going to say, is there any discussion?
I was going to ask just really quick. On the abandonment of rights, then I know it referenced Utah code section. I'll be honest, I didn't look it up, so I just thought I'd ask really quick. Do we reach out to the people before, like it's abandoned?
So what I understand, so that's our biggest thing is yes, we aspect like all resources to try to find who it belongs to, and we've from what I understand, we've never ever done that really.
Okay.
It hasn't ever really been done. There is some issues with the old section of the cemetery. There are some records that are lost. That's where Bobby would be a huge benefit to our team, is because there's old records that she's going through. There's unknowns out. We have names. It sounds bad, but they're out in the street, and we're trying to bring them into the old section of the cemetery.
Oh, wow.
Because they are there. We just don't know where. And so we've actually found some records through the county. So we've been working on a lot of that. So
Okay.
There's some history with the cemetery that I don't want to mess with the old until we absolutely know 100% who's there, where they're at, and that. So
And I'm guessing this is not a unique problem.
it's not. It's universal across all cemeteries because the way that, like, I've talked to dozens of, and back in the day, their record keeping wasn't great, wasn't perfect. During the Great Depression, people would put people into the ground and they would accidentally dig them up because they didn't know they were there. So there's things that happen in cemeteries that we're trying to do our best to find out.
Okay.
Where Bobby would be a huge asset to our team. So
Okay.
she is a huge asset.
Okay.
Sure, that's something we can
Yeah,
consider.
we're looking at that for maybe the next budget year, but.
Yep.
But under the state code, there are specific provisions you have to do. If you can't locate them, you have to publish in the paper, and there's ways
Okay.
to try to give notice before you take action and take those back.
Okay. That was
But
my
there is a
biggest thing,
process.
especially when it came to like the family
Right.
plot areas, and it just kind of popped in my head like, oh, that would be horrible if someone bought it and then it's gone, and so okay.
Okay, any other discussion?
Okay.
Okay, lacking any other discussion, I'm ready for a motion on this ordinance.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
Mayor, I motion that we approve the amendment to the Payson City Code Title 11, Chapter 16, City Cemetery.
I'll second.
Okay, have a motion been seconded. Roll call vote starting with Council Smith,
Yes.
Council Rowley,
Yes.
Council Moss,
Yes.
Council Provost. Yes. Okay, wonderful. Motion carries. Moving to number 3, public hearing resolution adopting the amended Payson City fee schedule regarding cemetery fees.
This
Same
is the
two
second
guys.
part. This is a proposal to amend the fees for the sell lots. Tracy and Bobby and Derek. I'm trying to move this. Just for the council's information, went through a lot of the cities in Utah County about what they charge. And so I don't know if you've had a chance, well, this wasn't in your packet, but here's Payson City in the blue for a single lot, residents 800, non-residents 12. You go over to Santaquin, it's 8 and 2,000. Salem is 1,000 and 2,500. Spanish Fork's anywhere from 1,000 to 1,400 up to 16 to 2,000. You go across Springville. Payson and Mapleton are probably some of the lower ones. But it's the one that stood out that Derek, and he can speak to this, is the non-residents are very low compared to what other cities are doing. And it sounds like we're getting a lot of people, non-residents, coming here because it's so cheap.
Yeah, so it's a huge, like, since I've been in this position, I've kind of seen that the non-residence fee is one of the lowest. And so we get a lot of people that are from other cities, even Salt Lake, even somewhere like, because their fees are so heavy up there that they come down here. I speak highly of the cemetery, but it's probably one of the most prettiest cemeteries in Utah County. If you travel cemeteries, it is one of the most pristine, well taken care of, maintained cemeteries. You can go to Spanish, you can go to Santaquin. We put a high standard on it. We really do. We care a lot. So I just feel like if you want to be buried in Payson Cemetery and you're a non-resident, you should probably pay equal or somewhat close to other cities' non-residence fees.
Yep. I have one question about that. As I looked at this, my mind immediately went to people that were born and raised here in Payson, were educated through the school system, and then moved away because of employment, and now wants to come back here to be buried. Do we treat them as non-resident? Do we treat them as a resident?
Good question.
We have treated them as non-resident if they've moved, and that's tough. I know when I've had discussion with Tracy and Derek, I don't know if you've had that discussion too. It's some cemeteries now, a lot of these still do the resident, non-resident. Some cemeteries are going away from that, just put it like in the middle, because so you don't have that argument. Some people that have lived here their whole life but have to go to a care center in another town, or some that have never been a resident and all of a sudden come here. There's just, he likes the idea of just making it one rate for everybody, but I know that there's a reason to have your residents have a better break. So we didn't recommend that.
I think it's important too, we give the sexton that autonomy to make some of those calls. And also I think too, with someone that's lived here for years and years and only moved away to go to a care facility, I would absolutely call them a resident, and I hope we are.
And we do.
Okay.
We do usually on those, if they're at a care facility for X amount of years, we do, and they've been living here, we consider them a resident for sure. what I tell people is, so I'm a Spanish Fork boy, raised in Spanish Fork. Guess what? I'll probably not be buried in Spanish Fork. So I feel like I'll probably be buried in Payson because now I've become a Payson resident. I married a girl from Payson. So I feel like the benefit of living here, paying, and you know, if you move away, like I moved away from Spanish Fork, I doubt, I mean, my dad was a teacher there for 32 years. They're not going to give me a non-resident fee. I mean, they will give me a non-resident fee. So I feel like to give the residents to live here, that's kind of where I'm at. So.
Well, it's expensive to run a cemetery, and when we have to replace, add to the cemetery, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
Can I ask why? I understand the raising of prices. I get that. The one that kind of gave me a little like the increase on the infant one, I felt like it went up 250 versus others didn't go up as much. And also like I don't know anything about cemeteries other than what going, but I guess like to me I'm like it's a smaller plot, like, and I couldn't imagine having to go pay, I guess. Can you explain that?
It is negotiable. It is 100%. I feel like most of the time, what happens with infants, so you're aware, is they're buried on top of grandparents, and so with that, all they pay is an opening and closing fee.
Okay.
So that's the majority of what I've seen. But yeah, like I said, it's negotiable because even the veterans, it didn't move, because when I got in there, I didn't understand why the veterans were paying $50 more. In my world, I'm like, they're veterans, they served our country. So I left the veterans at $850. And as for infants, I'm not opposed to keeping that at the same price.
I guess that was just my biggest is that I wouldn't want to add an extra fee to a family that, I mean, any death is obviously not a great thing to go through, but an infant, I couldn't, like, that's just as a mom, I saw that and just thought, why is it so much more of an increase? And so.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, Lacey, and I'd like to see the infant cost right around $400 if we were going to raise it, and no higher than that.
Yeah.
So say that again.
$400 on the infant fee rather than the $600.
The 600, what's
That's
currently
what it currently is. They want to go to
It's going to
850.
Oh, the 850 is the green. Yeah, well, let's take her down then. Let's
You
go
want,
to
you want to leave it at 600 or
600 or even go less, because if you
Yeah.
look at the rate, we're increasing the resident rate from 800 to 1,000. You know, that's
20%.
that's expensive too. But I see the cost, and we're still one of the cheaper. But
Yeah, I would just like to keep the infant at least where it's at personally.
I agree.
It's just a
So,
feeling.
whatever the
so do you
council
want to
wants
keep
do.
it at the 600? Is that what it is right now?
I mean, I do like Ryan's thing, but I think that the 600 is better than 850.
Yep.
So yes, that's fine.
I thought
No
the
higher than
previous
6.
slide showed that our infant rate was like 250.
That's the
The
open and
previous-
close, I
That's
think,
just
right?
the open and
That's
close.
the open and close.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like I said, since I've been in, the majority of the time, infants are usually buried on top of grandparents. And
So they wouldn't
stuff
have
like
to buy
that.
a separate lot.
They wouldn't have to buy a separate
But
lot.
if
You just
bought
pay
a
the
separate
open and
lot,
close.
So that's if they buy the entire lot,
Yeah.
the plot.
So on this new one though, it crosses out the resident infant and just leaves it at the 550 and 1,000. Can we not do that under the open and closed single? It's crossed out.
Oh, that's
Like,
Is that you're trying to
guess
get
you
rid
guys
of
better
that?
bury me really, really deep so my grandkids and their spouses can be.
Is that, do you see that?
Water-
Under the open and close right there, the resident infant and non-infant and the resident veteran is crossed out, like it's with a line through it. So are we,
Yeah, that's a good thought. I mean,
okay, because I didn't know if we were
I
just
think
getting,
Kathy, that you've got something to add, don't you?
I didn't know if we were making it all the same
We're dealing
price
with
for
money.
open and close. Sorry, I'm not trying to make it complicated.
It's crossed out. That's the old rate. It's either new language or we're just eliminating it.
Okay, so it would be nothing, because in the green, it's nothing.
It's 250 and 350 to open
Yeah,
and close, but we put 0 here.
Right, we eliminated that.
Okay.
So
you can see
if
there-
it's an infant open and close, they will not be charged.
Right, that's my understanding, yeah.
Or would they be charged the same rate?
Or are they going to
as
be charged the same
the-
rate as an adult?
the
That's what I
550?
was worried about.
And I can't tell you on that.
Can
That's
we
how it was-
verify that?
Yeah, this was how it was handed to me, so I'm assuming that they don't charge for that? Is that what
I
the
think that's a
intent
great
was?
question. I don't know. Maybe it's the total, but we can definitely look at that.
Okay, so if we approve this, can we like put that in?
Maybe if it's not too much trouble, maybe we
Or-
just send this back and you guys
You want to
Yeah.
table it and bring it
Yeah.
back?
table
Yeah,
it.
just
Let's look through this
keep
with
the
a fine
infant the
pencil
same and then
So
figure out the not the open and close.
Okay, so the direction is to keep the
Keep the
Infant.
infant lot
infants
the
same as
same.
it was, and then we got to check on the
Figure out the resident
open and
veteran and the infant open and close. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
I
you.
think that's a good table.
Okay.
I have one question really quick. So when someone is cremated, where do we put them now? In a regular plot?
Almost the same thing. So what we do with a regular plot is we sell it, but we also allow them to divide it up into cremation has become more and more popular thing. So like he said, I would love to see niche walls put in. My goal is to get niche walls. So as of right now, most of the time they will buy a full plot, and then there's 4 places for 4 cremations, as well as an infant. Like so we divide a plot into 4. But I almost make people dedicate them to a cremation plot, or I require a vault for the cremation in case a traditional, because realistically a traditional can go in the ground, and then 3 can go on tops.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's what we're seeing a lot of is people, families, they all know that they're going to be cremated, so they'll buy one plot, and then we've just been dividing it.
If we have a wall, it'll save area.
And they project by 2030 that like anywhere from about 30 to 40% of people are going towards cremations. So it's a huge thing. So with the infant one, I would like to also future planning, I would like to have like an infant area as well as the cremains area. Because as the cemetery sits now, there's an area in the old section where there was infants. It got full. Then we just moved it to another section. I would love to have a dedicated area just for infants, like an infant garden where it's beautified with the niche wall. That would be my.
I say you come back with a
Provo has
proposal.
A lot of cities have that. A lot of cities have like a
I like that.
designated area for infants and cremations, and they can kind of be put together and beautified. And there's benches there. Yeah, it looks really nice. So my goal as a sexton, that's as the future, that's what I'm pushing.
Bring us back your design, your idea, and let's do it.
And thank you for changing the name of where the infants are too.
I got a lot of pushback from especially women in the city that they're like Babyland.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
So I
that's bad.
talked to a bunch of other cemeteries and just got some ideas of what they did, and that's kind of the direction we went.
Okay, so there's no need for us to do a public hearing at this point in time if it's going to come back if we're tabling it.
We need a motion to table.
It is set as a public hearing. If you want to open a public hearing in case people want to.
Okay.
We can it's scheduled for tonight.
We'll go, I'll take a motion to open a public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote starting with Council Smith.
Yes.
Council Hewlett. Yes. Council Rowley.
Yes.
Council Moss.
Yes.
Council
Yes.
Provost. Okay, the motion carries. We'll open up a public hearing on this item. Please step to the mic if you'd like to talk with us and speak clearly. Remind your time limit would be right around 3 minutes, and whether you agree or disagree with the information that we've had presented to us. So we'll go ahead and the other thing is to identify yourself as well. So we'll go to that point. Not seeing anybody that would like to take advantage of the public hearing, I'll accept the motion to close it.
Wait, we've got
Hang
one.
on.
Oh, don't we have, come on up. I'm sorry. I looked down at my paper too quick.
I just have a question. I'm an archaeologist, and much of our work has to do with cemeteries in understanding the culture of the people who inter their loved ones. Are there different rates for the place in the cemetery where people purchase plots?
No.
Not.
Okay. Simple one. Good.
Connie Erickson.
Okay.
Beloved Connie Erickson.
Thank you, Connie. Anyone else? Okay, not seeing anyone, I'll accept a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, we got 2 seconds. Okay,
And can have it.
and you've got it. Okay, roll call vote, Council Provost Guard.
Yes.
Council Moss.
Yes.
Council Rowley.
Yes.
Council Hewlett. Yes. Council Smith.
Yes.
Okay,
Can I make a motion to table it now until?
please do.
I would make a motion that we table the adoption to amend Payson City fee schedule regarding cemetery fees until staff can review the proposals.
A second. Oh.
And we have a motion and second.
And I'll second adding that, yeah, we look at clarifying the fee schedule, including for veterans, and then also not raising the infant lot rate.
That okay with your motion?
That's great, but
Will you defer? Okay.
Oh, you don't have your microphone on. It's not real.
Yeah.
Oh,
I heard it. Okay, good. We have a motion and seconded. Roll call vote, starting with Council Smith.
Yes.
Council Hewlett. Yes. Council Rowley.
Yes.
Council Moss.
Yes.
Council Provost Guard.
yes.
Okay, thank you. The
Thank
motion
you.
carries.
We'll bring it back to the next meeting.
Okay, these next two, ladies and gentlemen, have to do with the Mangelson zone change on the East Side Comprehensive Plan. So what we will do, we'll have Michael come up and talk about both of them. And then after he talks about both of them, then we would like to have what we had talked about, someone for or someone against, give you some time there. Whether we do that before council discussion or after, we can play with that a little bit, but we'll go ahead and list. Then we'll have to do each one of these separate. But go ahead, Michael.
Thanks, Mayor. So this is two requests tonight. First is a general plan amendment to the East Side Comprehensive Plan, which is a specific area plan of the city and thereby an addendum to our general plan. Second request is for a zone change if the general plan amendment is approved. And the zone change would be, we'll discuss that in a few minutes. To give you some context of the area, I think most everybody knows where we're talking about, but here's a little map zoom in of the area. You can see the mouse cursor there. That is just north of that. You can see it's 10,300 in the county or 100 south in Payson. And to the east of that, that's 1,300 east in Payson. And I can't quite read that, 2,300 west. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, like I said, there's two approvals being sought tonight. One for an amendment to the East Side Comprehensive Plan from the active living designation to the traditional designation. And then the second request is for the R19 residential zone change. So City Council's role tonight would be either approval or denial of both of these requests. This has formerly gone to the Planning Commission. They had a public hearing there. They received much public comment, both in person and emailed and written. We read those comments into that public hearing. Council, I believe you've seen those comments and you've probably witnessed and watched that, that public hearing. Staff's role in this situation would be, if these approvals were granted tonight, then staff would do any of the subdivision and site plan processes associated with development in this area. So, necessary approvals for what's being asked. Tonight, the only thing that's being asked for is the amendment to the East Side Comprehensive Plan and the zoning amendment. There's other possible approvals that have not yet been applied for. One of them including the RMO two-family overlay. The other would be subdivision applications and building permits. A little bit about public comments. As I said, they were quite extensive. There's definitely a lot of interest in this area and a lot of concerned citizens. I'm not going to read public comments. I do have the comments from the meeting minutes if you want to talk about any of them or if you have any questions of them. But for the most part, comments centered around these bulleted topics of growth, infrastructure, neighborhood stability, safety, parking, property values, agricultural land, taxes, wildlife, and things related to those topics. A little bit of history here. So the initial application, the applicant requested an amendment to the Eastside Comprehensive Plan. Essentially, they wanted to remove the active living designation from the Eastside Comprehensive Plan so that they wouldn't have that restriction of a 55 plus community, but they could build any kind of residential development. And then they requested a zone change to the R110 zone and the RMF 15. Staff recommendation after receiving this application from the applicant recommended the district designation in the Eastside Comprehensive Plan and a zone change to that R110 with the RMF in the range of 6 to 8 units to the acre. Planning Commission held their public hearing and their meeting. Planning Commission made the determination they felt as if the district would be a good designation. And this is a difficult situation because they had to vote on one before the other. So they voted on this district, and then they decided they felt as if the R19 zone would be an appropriate zone change. Coming back around, staff and the applicant discussed after this Planning Commission meeting and felt as if the traditional designation fits better with the R19 zoning designation. And so that's why we're differing in a recommendation on the plan. And then the zone change recommendation is the same as what was proposed by Planning Commission. So now we'll just talk a little bit about the Eastside Comprehensive Plan and the request to the traditional designation. So these are, this is language right out of the plan of what active living is. And in blue, that's in the general plan, not the Eastside plan, of what this area would entail if the general plan was followed. And then finally, the last one is the district. This is in the Eastside Comprehensive Plan as well, providing a kind of a definition of what that would entail for future development. So I'm not going to read those unless you have questions about them.
Michael, can I ask a question? On the Eastside Comprehensive Plan, the active living, no density is identified. That phrase is quite frightening. If it stays active living, could it be as dense as what we see not too far away from that of high-rise 55 plus apartments?
No, because that needs a different zoning designation for that and then a different overlay designation for that. It would be more like Heritage Village, or I can't remember the name of the place across from 198, but there's
Rosewood
like some,
or Mountain View Estates.
Yes, Mountain View. I believe there's twin homes and like some single level townhome type development there.
It does say designed for single story. So,
But then it says for upper stories.
Mm-hmm.
right, it's kind of all
Yeah, there's
Yeah, so it says-
some
Kinda
interesting
confusing.
language
not the
there.
apartments.
So.
Yeah, that's some vague language that leaves some unanticipated loopholes, I believe, with density of active living itself.
Other questions on this page?
Well, the district includes, it says tasteful multifamily developments will be available. So that has a wide range as well.
Right. And I think that's intentional in that case.
But the purpose of this is not to designate it as district, correct, but rather traditional.
The original recommendation of staff was the district based off of what staff felt was a reasonable amount of density there. And so that's why we said that, because of the 6 to 8 units to the acre plus the single family homes, they could all fit in a similar designation such as a district. But the recommended change for tonight is the traditional instead of the district. Here's the portion of the definition from traditional in the Eastside Comprehensive Plan, and then the district's just shown here again to just kind of compare and contrast those two. So traditional is typically I don't want to say large lot, but I would say medium-sized lot homes, traditional sized homes, and it gives some neighborhoods here as kind of a reference of what those look like in size and neighborhood appearance. Any thoughts or questions on this page? Okay.
So staff recommended traditional to the planning and zoning. Planning and zoning.
No, staff recommended district, and planning commission felt as if the R19 zone was more appropriate, but they voted on the plan before they voted on the zone change, and so they voted on district first. So it's a little confusing, but yes, that's why there's a discrepancy there.
So in the traditional, we're voting to have it be traditional. Is that where we're
That
voting?
is the request tonight, yes.
Okay, and would that include just the single family homes and twin homes? Would that allow twin homes, or would that?
It allows for an overlay.
Well,
if
so
you will, with the
it doesn't get that specific.
Okay.
Traditional just talks about traditional single family home development. If the R19 zone was, and zoning is different than these designations in the plan. That's kind of.
So zoning would allow for an overlay.
But if the R19 was, and we'll get to that, if the R19 was approved, then that has another opportunity for an applicant to come in and request that twin homes. So I put in here a few suggested recommendations with staff's recommendation for motions here. This and the next topic of the zone change, there can be any number of motions here. So don't feel like you're pigeonholed into any of these, because these are legislative actions and you have a lot of broad authority of how you want to interpret and make a decision here. So I'll continue on. This is the end of the Eastside Comprehensive stuff. We'll go into the zone change stuff, and then we kind of summarize at the end. So the second request, this is contingent upon the plan amendment, is a zone change request to the R19 residential zone. Giving you some context right now.
Are you moving on to the zoning now? So we're not going to vote on these?
I'm just giving you the whole presentation, okay. And then there'll be separate motions to make, and we can, I've got slides in here that you can just see the suggested motions of each one separately. So,
okay, thanks, Michael.
So currently right now, that little red highlighted area is what the area is zoned, the R1A. And it looks like I didn't put in all of the classification for R1A, but that's essentially a 1 acre lot intended for small agricultural purposes, things of that nature. And much bigger than what's anticipated both in the Eastside Comprehensive Plan and in the general plan. And so that's the current zoning for the area right now. This is the recommendation, is the R19 zoning for the entire parcel there. Talking about a little bit about R19 versus R110, because I know a lot of the public voiced opinions about R110 versus R19. And so that's what is here. R19 is blue, R110 red. Essentially, they're very, very similar. R19, the minimum lot size is 9,000, whereas the R110 is 10,000 square feet. The minimum frontage is 90 feet versus 100 feet. The setbacks are identical between the two. Accessory apartments would be allowed in both zones. That's state law. And we have a little bit of stipulation. And so our stipulation is they have to be a minimum of 6,500 square foot lots to even be considered for an accessory apartment. The only significant difference in staff's opinion is the RM01 twin family overlay is possible in the R19 zone and not in the R110 zone. Any questions on this?
So why did we pick the R19 instead of the R110?
Planning Commission made that recommendation. I think the idea was to leave the opportunity open for the applicant to consider the twin family overlay.
Legislatively, we could go for the R19, but in the future we could deny the overlay.
Correct. Yep, that is correct.
Or we could just questions. We could approve the R110 and not worry about the overlay.
You could do that as well. Again, the staff recommended motion as well as 3 other possible motions here. Few more slides here just to give you some context. So other approvals, like I said, the R01 two-family overlay is a possibility with the R19 zone. The other approvals, they're grayed out because those are administrative and they have not been applied for, so they couldn't be applied for until these approvals have been granted, whether it's the RMO, whether it's the zone change, what have you. If nothing is granted, then the only thing that could essentially be done at this time would be 1 acre lots. So any questions on this? A little bit about the RMO 1 two-family overlay. Staff would recommend it be a separate application made if there's any desire by the applicant to consider that. If any RMO two-family overlay is considered now or in the future, then staff would recommend only a portion of this area be designated with that RMO overlay and not the entirety of the parcel. So this is kind of comes back around to final recommendations is the traditional designation in the Eastside Comprehensive Plan and then the zone change to the R19. So I'll just leave it at that. I do have at the end here just those same recommended possible motions. So
Michael, can you go back to one of the maps that shows the bigger area?
like this one?
Yes.
Sure. Just so I can get a feel of what the rest of the area might look like in the future. To the east, that big port, you know how there's that yellow square kind of juts out between the orange and that yellow next to the what's labeled R19. Do we know what that's going to be?
Yeah, it's in the plan. Do you have the plan pulled up handy, Michael? That
I don't have the plan readily available. Which yellow are you talking about?
So that part that juts out.
Oh, down here?
Yeah, that.
So
right above it.
That'd be district, right?
Right about where this blue line is, it goes across to about where my text is. And that R1A portion, that's the light yellow, all of that is the active living. Okay. And then from there going eastward goes to, I can't remember the name. I think it's the district is what it goes to from there. And it wraps around where 1500 East is, going on both sides of 1500 East and then up toward 198.
But that also could change where we're going to be reevaluating the general plan.
That could change with the general plan amendment.
But as of right now.
As of right now, those are how those are. And just keep in mind, both the Eastside Comprehensive Plan and the general plan are advisory documents. We generally want to follow them, but it's not required to follow them.
So basically that whole chunk between the orange and that yellow part jutting out is all active living, or it just goes straight across from the blue?
Just to about where my text starts in that white box.
Does it touch that square that juts out?
No, it's about from where this is right here and comes across like that.
Okay. Okay.
Do you have that plan? So Robert has that east side plan if you want to see that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Mm-hmm.
That hurts the eyes, but you can see, so the really light blue, that's the active living. You can see the subdivision just to the south of it. That's kind of where the edge of the applicant's request is the very corner of that subdivision. So there is the little bit of active living that's untouched with this request. And then there's the rest of the active living that goes east of 1300 East there. Some of these things are different, obviously. For example, Nebo School District doesn't own all of that property anymore. It's a smaller portion. So
obviously a lot of time and effort went into this East Side comprehensive plan. And, we're always harping to stick with the plan. And so if we were going to make a change, I think we need to make sure we make a change for the better. This area does in fact have a lot of 55 and older housing already. We just need to decide if we want to continue to allow more of that, that would be dense, like by the temple, the Heritage Village area, or if we want to allow for something else.
And I've often talked about, especially lately, the need for single level living for our older community. Just thoughts, just thinking out loud.
So
Well,
I
it
see
also
that-
doesn't change all of it as of right now. Like there still would be
There's some.
2 sections. I mean,
and just to make note, 55 plus communities can go anywhere anyway.
Yep.
This is just an area in this plan that was identified because of the proximity to doctors' offices and the hospital and things like that. So it's not like it can only go here. So
I think it'd be advantageous though if we're going to change that little sliver. It would leave those 2 on each side left the same. I think it would be nice to have one continuous zone there as we reevaluate the East Side Comprehensive Plan.
Okay, is that your presentation on both of them, Michael?
yes, unless you had any other questions.
Any other questions, council? Because the next step will go is to have someone that is designated to talk about for or against, so.
I just have one question. So we talked maybe about expanding that to include all that area, so you don't have 55 and older in that whole area. Since the public hearings for those 3 parcels, we'd have to have another public hearing to do that, right?
You're talking about, for example, that small piece, it's R1A right there, and the part to the west.
Right.
Yes, we would
I think it
change
would be. I think it would be good form, but no, you don't actually have to have another hearing for that because council can make an amended motion so that you could, for example, say we're going to designate all of that 55 plus active living to something else.
I think that'd be better to do with just worrying about the applicant tonight.
well, it just
As
looks
we-
weird.
as-
It's like,
Right, but as
Yeah.
we reevaluate the East Side Comprehensive Plan of looking at that and holding the proper public hearings.
And just because it's not called for doesn't mean we don't have to do it.
Right.
Okay, we good? I'll go ahead and there's a few things I'd like to say prior to going ahead and let someone come up and talk. I guess maybe I'm patting ourselves on the back. We don't have to do this, ladies and gentlemen. We hear it all the time that we don't listen. I want that to go away because we do listen. We don't have to have, this has already been discussed ad nausea in some ways, but, and it's had a public hearing, but we want to make sure that your voices are heard. And the other thing that I'd like to mention here too is when it comes to subdivisions like this, we do have the power that we can do different zoning areas for the city. We've got to be very careful. Don't want to be afraid of the state, but we got to be careful with the state because there are those in the state government that would like to take that power away from the cities and do a statewide overlay, and then they would control where it goes and the density that it goes to. We've already been, and it's really upset me and Robert because we were in the meeting. We've already been designated as a bad actor city because we didn't want some of the things that the state really would like to push. So, and the reason I'm saying this is because we do listen to you, but sometimes there's things that you don't understand or don't even know that we have to respond to. But I just wanted to mention that. As we sit here and listen to either pro or con, please keep their demeanor in the appropriate way. As we have someone come up here, whether it be for in favor of or against it, please don't, after they get done, please don't clap. We kind of expect that when we like things, but this is a city meeting and that's part of the demeanor I'm talking about. If you would do that, please. So what I would do at this point in time, if there's anyone, and I would like to start with for this action. If there's anyone here that would like to speak for this action, please come up and address us. Doesn't surprise me. Oh, come on up. Yeah. Good. Representative of the Planning Commission.
Yes. Kirk Beecher, Planning Commission. But the reason the Planning Commission went with R19 versus the R110 and the RMF1 is that we didn't like the density of the RMF1, and we wanted a buffer between the R110 that's already to the south and west and the much higher density to the north and northeast. And so we went with something that was middle of the road. It wasn't the higher density of the RMF1, and it wasn't the lower density of the R110. So that was part of the discussion, and that's the reason we went with R19. We didn't know about the traditional, or we would have gone that way when we were talking. So that was, we were given the district as the option, and we didn't know the traditional. So
thank you for that.
It was a very long meeting.
It was a long meeting. We had quite a discussion with the residents.
Understand. Thank you. Anyone else would like to? Is this pro or con?
Pro.
Okay, that's
I'm the
fine.
least popular
I just
person in the
wanted to
room.
make sure. Okay.
I'm Jimmy DeGraffenreid, and I'm actually representing the Mangelson property. Our whole intent on this really is, I guess, should I address the change first or the zoning? I mean,
Well, both. Go ahead and
Okay.
do it's just like it was presented to us.
Okay. Our thinking on changing it from the 55 and older is just simply, it's not really selling in that area. There's another subdivision that's been over there for a while. They've sold, I don't even know if they've sold, they've started 2 or 3 homes on it. We feel like the one that was down by the temple did really well, but it took a long time and it looked really nice. And then I look at what I do for a living, which is, I mean, I have 2 different home building companies. One's upper end homes that does $1.5 million plus, and one that does lower end homes. And in our lower end homes, we actually have a lot of our second biggest customer in the lower end homes is people that are in their 60s, and they're not wanting to live necessarily in a 55 and older community. And now that I'm 54, I don't want to live in a 55 and older community either. So, I mean, that used to seem old. Now it doesn't. So, so that was really as simple as it was on that. We just felt it might be better for the area in general. As far as the zoning, we just looked at the hospital to the side. It was kind of a commercial area. We looked at the millions of homes, it feels like, that's on the other side, that's just that's sitting there, and we said we just want to create a transition. And in every city that I work in, we try to create transitions. We don't we don't go from 0 to 100. It's just we go in there and we try to make it so everything fits. We we found that we have a hard time selling single family homes, nicer single family homes, right next to apartments. But the people that are going to buy the single family homes don't necessarily want to live right next to an apartment. But people who might be buying a townhome or a twin home will do that. Also, people who will buy a townhome, people will buy a twin home next to a townhome, and people will buy a single family home next to a twin home. And so it's just a simple transition that we're trying to do, and we're not trying to be, like greedy developers like we always get pegged as. We just looked at it and just like, this is what we want to do and make a transition that's good for the community. So that's
Thank you. That appreciate it. Adds to our discussion.
You state your name.
I did. I can state it again if you want, Brent.
You're good. You're good. Okay, we've had a clarification and someone to speak for the pro, and so we're to the point where somebody would like to. Hopefully, you've picked a spokesperson that would be against it. Please come up now.
I'm Jeremy Smith. I'm a resident. I live at 633 South, 1400 East in Payson. So not right next to this property, but I do have interest in this, how this property gets developed, because there are other annexations closer to where I live that would follow suit with what happens here. So in talking with a lot of the residents here tonight, their main concern is with the overlay. So a lot of people are happy with the R19. A lot of people would like to see the R110 that would eliminate the overlay. But if it did pass as R19, then the citizens would request that you deny any future overlay in that area to eliminate the duplexes or twin homes. There's a lot of concerns that were highlighted in the presentation from the staff. Road infrastructure. With the current development of those townhouses and apartments near this property, I'm sure if you drove down there, I'm sure you probably have seen all the parking on the street. There's just no room for parking in those developments, and so the residents are parking along the street on 100 South. And with twin homes, we don't want to see a similar parking issue in this neighborhood where it's just filled with cars on the streets. Let's see. Some of the concerns also were like with that Holdaway development where the apartments and townhouses are, is that the original zoning that was approved for that when it was annexed in with one developer, and then the developer, I guess, left, and a new developer came in and requested changes to that, and so that there are concerns with the residents of possible changes from what gets decided tonight. There were a lot of points brought up in the Planning Commission public hearing about this property, and there were lots of questions asked by the residents, and a lot of residents feel that those questions have not been answered, and they would like to like refer to the minutes of that commission meeting, pages 3 and 4, where there was lots of comments made and questions, and answers were promised which haven't been answered yet. There's also concerns with the high density of the townhouses and apartments. The current residents have noticed a change in water pressure. So the demand on the water system in that area, and so the higher density in this new development would put more strain on the water system and water pressures for everyone around. I think just one other thing here. All of us are here because we're concerned about our city and our own investment in our own properties as well. And what's decided here tonight can determine property values of the surrounding areas. And that's what we're looking out for. Another concern was that some residents feel like the staff may be leaning more favorably to the developer than to the citizens. And so we want our concerns to be heard, and I know that you guys listen to the citizens as well. So, our request would be just to do past the R110, eliminate any future possibility of the overlay from just right now, just deny that. One other thing that I also wanted to bring up is relating to the plans, the general plan and the East Side Comprehensive Plan. In the general plan, it states, as the city grows, there will be a need to prepare small area plans to provide additional guidance in land use, transportation, utilities, and other services for new planning areas. Small area plans contain a set of specific strategies for a specific geography that often has a cohesive set of characteristics. So my understanding of that is that the general plan is like a high-level plan, right? And these small area plans dig deeper into the details of what specific needs are for that specific neighborhood. One thing that hasn't been brought up yet tonight is the water table in this area is really high. You're not gonna be able to put basements in these homes without sump pumps or pumps to pump sewer out of the basements, because they're going to be below the water table, and sewer lines are going to have to be up higher in the streets. So you're going to need some pumps to get a sewer out of the houses up to that main line. So this is a perfect area for places, homes that don't have basements, that are catered to senior citizens, where it's flat one-story level dwellings that don't need a basement. I think that's about it, unless there's any points that I missed. I think everybody's pretty happy with what I've said. So we appreciate the opportunity to speak, even though legally you don't have to let us speak here at this point, but we appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
You bet. Glad to provide it. Jeremy, thank you. This is the way it's supposed to work, and we don't want to unnecessarily cut anybody off, but we have hard decisions that we have to make based on the information that we get. And so please don't ever believe that we don't listen. We do. And sometimes we have to swallow a little hard so that maybe we win the battle, but lose the war, so to speak. We don't want the state to do a statewide overlay, and that would not be something, would be, in my opinion, a very good thing for any city to have the state control it. So, okay. Any other questions that you have at this time, council?
A little discussion. Go ahead, Lacey.
Oh, I was just gonna just kind of, not really questions. I mean, well, I guess one question was that Jeremy, when the 55 and up, with no basement kind of thing, I do think it's a great spot. But if you do the R110, I don't think a lot of people, if they're in a 55 and older community, they usually do that because they don't want a large lot like that. But yeah, that was just the first thing that popped in my head. But I don't know if right now we can just hurry and just kind of give our thoughts and whatever, or what we're doing.
Well, if there's any questions, and if you don't want to have some thoughts, we can do, but we need to get to a point where we entertain a motion.
I think it's important to have a few discussion
I-
items on this.
Yeah.
This is a big
Sure.
decision.
Sure.
Mayor, I appreciate you opening it up for residents to be able to speak. And I thank the staff and residents and planning commission that attended the planning commission meeting on this. I know it was long and confusing. It was about like me trying to figure out the cemetery fee schedule. It was just a hard meeting, right? So thank you for making your voices heard. I promise we do hear you. We work for you. That's what our job is. And so thank you for so many that have submitted so many quality, data-driven remarks and comments on this particular item. I do want to call out a few things. The parking on the street, while that is a reality, it's almost irrelevant, darn it, because you drive down my street and I've got cars and vehicles parked on my street too. So it doesn't matter what zoning we do, people park on the street, especially as families get older and they have multiple drivers.
This time of year, trailer houses.
Yes. Yep. I also want to mention too that sometimes if we fear the state so much, Mr. Mayor, that it affects our decision, they've almost already taken away the power of that law.
No, I don't want to be afraid of the state. I just don't want to be a bad actor and suffer the wrath of some of them. I'm not afraid to push back in any way, shape, or form, but we need to know when to push and when not to.
Absolutely. Yes. And I think for this area, and I do want to disclose, I do live in a neighborhood adjacent to this parcel. I don't believe it creates a conflict of interest, but I do want to disclose that I live next to it. I think with this area, it has hit its mark with density. We have increased density in East Payson with zero amenities. There's no parks. There's no retail in East Payson. And so we're either driving into the middle of Payson or, heaven forbid, giving our precious sales tax dollars to Salem to do it. And so per this plan that the current developer has submitted, I don't see any benefit to Payson as a whole for increasing density in this area without any additional amenities for the surrounding residents. I think too that we will have the opportunity for density along the Payson Parkway. But I think in this area, if we fall back to the East Side Comprehensive Plan, it says that we should respect the styles and densities of established neighborhoods. And there are a lot of established neighborhoods in East Payson, and not very many of them are smaller than 10,000 square foot lots. And so that's something important to consider as we make this decision. And so I have fear of giving away the farm for nothing sometimes. And just to everyone here, East Payson is going to change a lot. And so, darn it, the only way to control what happens next door to you is if you own it. And I think, too, we set a precedence of what we do tonight. But I do have fears of East Payson as more of these annexes come in. I know this is not an annex, but I have fear of East Payson turning this conglomerate of never-ending cul-de-sacs because none of these communities are intertwined or connected. We need to get serious about making some hard decisions to truly plan this area out, to make it truly the gateway of our city along SR 198. And so if we're going to change the plan, if we want to deviate from the plan, I think we should err on the side of lower density.
I just wanted to say, kind of reiterating what Ryan said, I take this position very, very seriously. I think everyone that emailed, the only person I did not email back is Lee Timothy. And that was because I just ran out of time. But every single person I replied back to, I really care. I frequent the area. And as I looked at it, I do like the idea of just what Ryan was saying, but I know that you have to have that buffer. But I do feel if you just go a little to the south, showing that road size, that is a buffer from residential to the hospital, residential to a townhome. I feel like the road size is a great buffer. So that's my feelings on that. And then I know there was something else, but I was just gonna say, I know that, and I said this to every person that I replied to, 0.02 does not seem like a ton, and I listened to all the replies as to why you felt that it was a difference. But my thing to one of the developers, I know that people don't want to buy a nicer home, as you say, next to apartments and townhomes. All of these residents, I feel like, that are sitting in here that are against it, they also built and purchased their home looking at a general plan, looking at the surrounding neighborhood, and they wouldn't have that choice. That's why they're here, is to fight for that, as to why they chose their home. So that's just my feelings on it. So,
Councilor, do you have anything to add?
I just got a few things. Thanks everybody for coming here and also voicing your opinions. One thing I look at is I like to look at the planning and zoning. They've spent a lot of time making decisions about this. Staff's worked on this for a long time, and I value their opinions also. And then I look at R19 versus R110. Their lots are fairly similar in size. But I think that I don't want the multifamily, the overlay, but the one R19 gives that opportunity, but we have the discretion here to deny that. And so I think this gives a little bit of compromise that maybe they won't come back and want an overlay, and then they get a little bit smaller lots. So hopefully that will take care of that. They won't come back, but it'll still be nice sized lots. 9,000 square feet is a nice sized lot. So I'm fine with the staff recommendations.
I appreciate everything that everyone has said. We really do listen. I value this position very, very much. And I've been in similar situations as you where my whole neighborhood came in years ago to make our voices heard. So I sympathize with you. I know how you're feeling. I also agree with what Ryan said about the state and calling us a bad actor. Not everybody up there feels that way towards us, and I don't think we should cater to what a couple of people in power say. So, because this is our town, this is where we live, and how we feel and where we live, and where we live our lives matters more than what they say. So, just a second. So I value what the staff has done. They've done a lot of work. I value all the emails and all the opinions that I've received. I live near the Heritage, I think it's Heritage Fields over by Walmart. And it took a long time because there was an owner, and then the recession happened in 2007 and 2008. They couldn't get anything, nothing was selling. That's why it took so long. So when they switched owners and they switched plan, then it took off, and the economy had changed. Then it took off, and it was very well established and sold quickly. And it's an excellent neighborhood for retirees. We do need more, and they're not single level. I mean, they're single level living, and then they have basements, but we do need to take care of our retirees. But I just want, I'm leaning towards the R110 because I don't like the overlay as well. I prefer not to have mixed traditional homes with townhomes or twin homes. But
this project. Sound okay?
No.
Okay.
But I value everything, all the information. I'm really, really soaking it all in, and I want to make the best decision possible for the people who live there already.
Okay.
I think there's a great compromise here, but I lean towards the R19 very, very strongly, but the possibility of the overlay sours me on this particular project. I just don't think that is a buffer between the hospital or wherever staff would recommend those be put. So I'm in favor of remanding this back to staff with the applicant, and R19 would be my strong suggestion without any possibility of an overlay.
Okay.
Can we put that in a motion that we're okay with the R19 without any possibility of overlay?
I don't know that without like a development agreement, I don't know that you could actually do that, but yeah.
I know there was another comment, but we've had plenty of discussion on this item, so I would ask that we have a motion. Well, we need to do one and then the other, right?
Yes, so the first one here is this East Side Comprehensive Plan. These are some suggested motions.
Mayor, can you turn on your microphone? Mayor?
Oh, sorry.
It must have turned off by itself. Sorry. Okay. So I'm ready for a motion on item number 4.
I was gonna do a motion to approval of a different amendment of the East Side Comprehensive Plan that the traditional designation as identified in the East Side Comprehensive, the ESCP.
Okay, we have a motion been seconded. We'll go roll call vote, starting with Council Provost-Guard.
Yes.
Council Moss. Yes. Council Rowley.
Yes.
Council Hewlett.
Yes.
Council Smith.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. We'll go to number 5 ordinance, Mangleson zone change request, R1A to R19. Okay, is there a motion for that item?
Mayor, I motion that we amend the request and change the Mangleson zone request from R1A to R110.
Okay, we have a motion and it's been seconded. Roll call vote starting with Council Smith.
Yes.
Council Hewlett.
No, and the reason is because I know that for multifamily, it'd have to come back to us and we could deny that.
Okay. Council Rowley.
Yes.
Council Moss.
Yes.
Council Provost-Guard.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
And mine carries because it still leaves with the overlay, and I'm just not comfortable with that.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to have you be here. I have been in meetings that have been a little bit ruckus, and I don't like those meetings, and I don't think any of you really would either. But my compliment is to you. Thank you for being here, number one, and doing it in an orderly fashion.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So we just changed the designation from active living to traditional with a minimum of 10,000 square foot lots.
So there is no possibility of.
No possibility of an overlay.
Correct.
No density. Single family homes.
There, go ahead and clap on that one. Thank you.
I'm always covered.
As a builder in the residential construction, a lot of these people don't know what you're talking about. So
Okay.
that was the frustration in the community before.
Well,
is 2 out of the 4 people didn't even know what they voted.
that's why I felt like it was very important to give some people an opportunity to talk.
Thank you for explaining that to those who don't.
You bet. Thank you. Okay, I'm ready for a motion to adjourn to a closed meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Good. Any opposed? Nope.
Do you want me to do it?
Why is it so moved?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
On April.
Thank you.
2026.
Bob, turn on your microphone.
It turned.
They turned
At 7:57 to discuss the purchase, exchange, sell, or lease of real property.
Okay,
You missed out, Brian.
better? Then we got that.
We have to have roll call.
Yes, we do.
We have to have roll
roll
call.
call.
Okay, roll call.
Yes.
Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, unanimous.
I love my little doll.
Me too.
I know it's so cute. Oh my gosh, this is
I
gonna
was
go next
scared
to my
it was
Little House on the
a
Prairie
voodoo
stuff.
doll of us that be stabbing it in the,
Are you watching the new one?
in the
No.
crowd.
I haven't either. I'm not curious.
The